The origin of this event today goes back 20-some years to the time when I was working for the mayor in Chicago Heights. One of my co-workers was Mary Orlick. Mary Orlick is the grandmother of our guest today, and so this is the beginning of it. Now, Cole last a year and a half ago was looking for some support. He had this opportunity to go to Italy, and he's looking for maybe some financial help or whatever. And he came to Casa Italia. He came to me. Imagine that. Someone's coming to me for financial support. And I said, oh, God, I don't think we can do it. But let me offer you this. If you go, when you come back, come and tell us about it. And so that's how we got here today, to have the experience of listening to a young person, and get that again, that's a young person in Casa Italia, interested in Italian-American stuff, even though he's not technically an Italian-American, but he grew up in Chicago Heights, and everybody in Chicago Heights is an Italian by osmosis, if nothing else. So, this is a great opportunity, and I asked him to emphasize how young people could take advantage of the opportunity. And imagine yourself, I know it's hard, especially hard for me and some of the other people I see in the room, to think of themselves back in their early 20s and what an opportunity like this could have meant to them in their lives. Do we have a problem here? Okay, we've got some competition here from. Okay, if you have a cell phone, throw it out the window.
Good place for it.
There is a do not disturb.
As I look around the room, our most egregious cell phone violator is not here, but if he comes in, somebody frisk him and take his phone away. Anyhow, thank you for being here. Now, we have a lot of experts among the volunteers at Casa Italia Library, and we actually have an archaeologist on the staff, a retired professor of archaeology, and Martin Gesso is our guy. He's also our cameraman, and he's also our editor, and he's going to do an introduction of Cole that includes archaeology, which is the subject of today's evening. Thank you. Ever do that? No, then we have to edit it.
Right.
Oh, okay, no, it's a second. So that's good. Thank you very much for coming, and especially thank you, Cole, for being here. And as I said, as Dominic said, it's great to have young people coming in and telling us about their experiences with anything Italian or Italian American, in this case, the deep Italy. And so Cole is going to talk a little bit about what it means to participate in an archaeological excavation or doing archaeological work with people who are interested in the past. And definitely when you're in college, when you're a graduate student, there are opportunities to go to participate in archaeological research in general. It doesn't have to be exclusively in excavations. In the US, there are many places in the US where you can go, and also to many countries of the world they're open. Of course, it has a cost. It has a cost. That's a big thing to tackle with. But definitely, when you think about archaeology, you think about discovering things. They always ask you, are there things to be discovered? Yes, of course, there are, and many, and our knowledge of the past keeps changing with new discoveries, some very important, others not that important. So Cole is going to talk about all of that. He's going to not only about the specifics of his work in central Italy, but about what it is to do archaeology. So thank you again very much, Cole, for being here, and I hope you enjoy. You have questions for him. Thank you again.
Wait, Dominic to get on the computer, then we'll get started. And if you have any questions during it, please feel free to raise your hand, ask. I have no problem in answering them during it. I appreciate you guys for letting me come out to speak to you guys, and I appreciate you just for being here. Whenever you go to the next slide, it's all great. Okay, I just want to tell you a little bit about my background. My name is Cole Orlick. I was born in Chicago Heights, Illinois, and raised in Frankfort, Illinois. Where I went to Lincoln Way East High School. History has always been my passion since I was a little kid. I still recall the first time I ever corrected my dad when I was 4 years old about a history fact. I cherish that memory for sure. My first 5 semesters of college, I attended Joliet Junior College, where I studied history and finance. Before I transferred to Illinois State University, where I'll be graduating in May, and I'm currently studying general history and minoring in political science. How to get involved? I got involved through the Illinois State Study Abroad program from a reference from my professor, Dr. Jasper, who leads the project. To be a classically trained archaeologist, you must go to a field school to be trained. The field school I attended was Valle Giani Field School, located in Dig-Italy, Italy, in the province of Lazio. The project is ran by 2 ISU professors, Dr. Caitlin Jasper and Dr. Leah Klein, both expert in their field and have a great passion for the project and their students. But there are many other ways to get involved. In this side, I included some organizations that anybody can further their passion in history or archaeology. And if you have any questions about these websites or organizations, I could feel free to ask you after the speech. I could let you guys know. Here's some. The Archaeological Institute of America is one of the biggest, and that helps you find field schools to get studied with. The biggest issue of trying to find field schools is finding one in your own native language. A lot of digs in Italy, it's only Italians on there. You have to be able to speak Italian fluently, and that goes for if you're in Poland, you have to do Polish. English, you have to know English. And there's some other. Dig Adventures is a great one if you want to go to United States or United Kingdom. And then if you actually want to go to Israel, Jordan, or other places from the biblical periods, there's a society for that as well. In this slide, I wanted to add some more resources to better prepare you for a career in history or archaeology. If you want to study the past, it is utmost important to learn Latin or any other language needed for your study. For me, I took Italian a year prior at Illinois State to try to better acclimate for my environment. Or cozy, worked a little bit, but Latin is the main thing here. If anything in archaeology, you have to know Latin. You have to know if you're studying in Spain, Italy, Poland, Latin, everything was written in Latin, and for the older people. And there's some more courses. I mean, even just Duolingo or going to an actual Latin, it helps you to acclimate to the trip. Go to the next one. Now I'm going to talk to you about the project. The Northwest Bolsena Archaeological Project is a sophisticated international effort investigating the complexes of Valle Giani. Located at a scenic plateau approximately 300 meters west of Lake Bolsena, the lakeshore, the site just sits south of the modern commune of Dig-Italy. The project was founded in 2018 by Dr. Leah Klein and Dr. Catherine Jasper, who operate a premier field school through Illinois State University. Although the project officially launched in 2018, With preliminary surveys, the global COVID-19 pandemic forced a little hiatus, meaning a bulk of the intensive excavation work occurred between 2021 and 2024. The core mission of the NBAP is to establish a definite chronology for the site, moving behind the surface level observations to understand how the specific location functioned economically and socially. By studying this transition from the High Roman Imperial era through the Middle Ages, the team hopes to rewrite the history of the lake's western shore, which traditionally has been less studied than the lake's eastern shore.
Cole, is this an Illinois State University project?
Yes, it's through Illinois State, all Illinois State professors, even though we work in conjunction with some archaeologists and professors in Italy. It's mostly all four of my major bosses, I guess you would call. We're all professors at Illinois State. Dr. Catherine Jasper is my Middle Ages professor, where I'm currently in her classes. She knows more about the history of the Middle Ages and all that stuff. Dr. Leah Klein is the art historian, so she'll be able to tell about pottery, different type artworks, cermet, tufa, and all the other stuff we'll be talking about. While Dr. Rask and Dr. Abigail Stone are our main anthropologists focusing on bones. Like Dr. Abigail Stone might be one of the most brilliant people I've ever met. You could pull out a little bone from the ground and she'd be like, oh, calf, 3 years, 4 months, like stuff like that. Truly remarkable what you could do when you study history, when you know history.
So for the foreseeable future, the Illinois State University group of half a dozen professors is going to be there on that site working on it, and you can get involved through Illinois State.
Yeah, so we've been working on it, digging pretty deep for the last 2-3 summers. I think for sure they got another 2 to 3 years left of stuff on the site to dig through, but after that one's done, they're going to try to find another one to keep this pipeline of archaeological field schools going. So yes, if Illinois State is one of the great resources for that. We actually have a kind of a budding medieval program. Yeah.
Who funds the project?
Some donors, and actually we just got this big grant, I'm blanking on the name, from big grant from the federal government actually, because we found all the discoveries we found in the past year. So we get it from either ISU donors or the federal government, plus any outside benefactors that want to support the project.
Does the Italian government help with that?
We work in conjunction because technically I was on like a work visa when I was there, so so they do help with it. They have so many sites there where it's like they don't really want this to be another World Heritage site because then they'd have to put more funding, more security and stuff. So we're kind of keeping it low key, I guess you could say. Like other than outside of like Italy and Lake Bolsena, where they see 20 Americans show up every year to this tiny town, nobody really knows about it too well broadly in Italy. But we work in conjunction. If you ever heard of the city Orvieto, yeah, we visit there quite a bit. We have a couple of archaeologists from that location that come down and help. Oh, beautiful town.
Do you know Bill Parkinson?
Bill Parkinson? It does not sound familiar to me.
He's a professor at UIC, and he's the curator at the Film Museum where I'm at. We've gone on digs just south of Joliet.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Mississippian culture.
Interesting. I'll talk to you after about that. I'll talk to you after about that. Okay, and I just want to give you a little location of it. Valle Gianni is nested on the north shore of Lake Bolsena, which is a massive volcanic lake in central Italy. It's actually the biggest concave lake in Europe. It was originally a big volcano, and it concaved, estimated 100,000 years ago, a million, who knows. I stayed about right here in the town, and this is the museum and their main office building where the mayor does his stuff, and this is their main church right here. Historically, this area was the heart of Etruscan territory before the Romans took control in the 3rd century. The location was not just for its views; it was a strategic spot for settlement and archaeological architecture for over 1,000 years. And it sits it's about a 2-hour-ish drive from Rome. It's about 65 to 70 miles away, depending on which side of the lake you're on. Here is the map of it. The dig site is right here in the red. We were staying in the town of Gridoli right up there. So it was about like a 10-15 minute drive. And then it's on top of a mountain, so it's about a 15-ish minute hike up. So we had to hike there and down every day. It's in this like mountainous thing where I'll describe in a little bit more detail. Looking at the parchment, you can see the project here highlighted red. It sits about 350 meters back from the lakeshore, while the famous Via Casa Road, as you see right there, serves at the eastern side of the lake. No major Roman roads were previously known to be even close to this Valle Gianni site, which makes this discovery such a high status site here in the archaeological win for our team.
So you have to go up to get to the lake?
Yes, it's the lake's kind of in the, the lake's on the bottom, and then the towns are all up in the, so this is all mountains, and you kind of drive down towards the lake, and then we have to we walk back up into the mountain there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It was a very beautiful lake, and you can tell it's so old, a lot different than here. Like, we're just walking to the lake and you see old pottery or ceramics just over there. You got to be very careful walking out there because you'll stab your foot. But it's a very interesting lake. There's a lot of fish. Was amazing. They had fresh fish the whole time when we were in Gridoli, so I enjoyed that a lot. Let me go to the next one. Valle Gianni's significance is deeply rooted in its unique geology and long human history. Situated within the Bolsena volcanic district, the landscape is defined by dramatic tufa plateaus. And in America we call that tuff. It's very similar, we have that same thing, but in tufa is what it's called in Italy. And fertile volcanic soil. This terrain was invited human habitation since at least the Bronze Age, as the natural cliffs provide a defense while the lake provides resources. Historically, this region was a stronghold for Etruscans who dominated the area from the 8th century BC until the Roman expansion period. A pivotal turning point occurred in 264 BC when the Roman Senate responded to a social uprising in the nearby city of Orvieto. The Romans crushed the rebellion and forcibly relocated the population to this new site along the Lake Bolsena. Bolsena at the time, now considered modern Bolsena, on the lake's northeastern shore. The forced migration cleared the way for Romans elites to move in and establish large archaeological estates, architectural estates, with one found at Valle Gianni, effectively turning Etruscan heartland into the new Roman territory.
So it went from Roman...
Etruscan to Roman.
Etruscan to Roman.
Yes.
And Etruscan is that kind of mysterious...
Yes, we really don't know too much about them, the language. A lot of we know a lot from what the Romans said, so it's like you take it with a grain of salt, because they say, oh, this culture is a little different, they're bad. We don't know too much about them because we don't have the written language. But in Orvieto, they actually have about 30-ish tombs of old Etruscan tombs. And you've heard of Orvieto. It's up on this huge mountain, and then you have just a bunch of tombs surrounding it, which is actually, we got to go through. I don't know if I have any pictures of that one up here.
I think probably most of our audience know Orvieto from the wine. Wonderful, wonderful wine.
Beautiful church there, built by Saint Dominicans. I believe it's a Dominican church. Beautiful. It's very tall. Yes, discovery. While the rediscovery of Valle Gianni is a classic tale of modern archaeology meeting local folklore. While the massive stone walls of this site, its Roman fountain, have been partially visible to the local farmers for decades, professional attention didn't arrive until 2007. Prior to this, the site suffered from decades of undocumented exploration and looting. Local stories often hinted at the site's hidden treasure for years. Rumors circulated about fragmentary marble statues that have been recovered from the site and have been hidden away in the town hall closet to keep safe from tomb robbers. Other stories spoke of paved Roman roads lying just beneath the surface of nearby olive groves. It wasn't until Italian Sopratenzia, led by archaeologists like Enrico Pellegrini and Cici Ziagata, began emergency excavations in 2007, that the true scale of the site began to emerge. These early efforts proved that the fountain was just the tip of the iceberg sitting on top of layers of overlapping ancient structures. You go back one. Yeah. See, this is what we found up here. This is, in the next picture it's going to be a little bit below, but this is the Nifeum. If you look inside of there, there's still a bunch of water. There's a natural spring that we'd be talking about. And this is still out here to the day. Being on the natural cliffside kind of preserved it a lot. The big trouble with us is that there used to be a roof here, and now the roof's on the ground, plus dirt, plus everything else over there. So that's the big problem, is getting that out. and we don't want to do it, but you have to get excavators, and that's getting up in mountains, a little bit of difficulty. You go next. Yes, this is the fountain. The archaeological crown jewel of the Valle Giani is its monumental Roman fountain, often identified as a Nymphaeum, a sanctuary dedicated to water nymphs. Built in the late 1st century BC, the structure is a masterpiece of Roman engineering, standing roughly 6 by 8 meters. It was strategically positioned to capture a natural freshwater spring that still flows from the hillside today. The construction uses opus rectilium, where small diamond-shaped tufa blocks are set in a net-like pattern. Remarkably, because the north and west walls lean directly against an actual rock cliffside, they have been preserved to the original height of nearly 6 meters. The side walls features edicula, or decorative epaulettes, which likely once held statues or ornaments. The fountain wasn't just a utility for water, it's a display of wealth and Roman culture designed to impress anyone approaching the villa from the lake below. And this is where we did a lot of the digging. We had people deep inside here, deep over here, and then on the cliffside. And we kind of, to make it safe, you have to have steps down. So these things are about 3 feet high, and we had about 3 more steps, so we had people on each one just scraping. Because you can't really dig deep because you don't know what you're gonna find. So it's a lot of just pretty much scraping dirt, pulling out brooms, and you have to broom dirt. Before going to archaeological dig, I never thought I'd have to sweep dirt and know the difference before it, but it makes a lot. It makes the whole difference of knowing when we have to take pictures of every time there's a different soil change or it looks a little different, you gotta stop, clean it up, and take pictures to see our progress.
I've seen the Italian brooms. How did they work?
They're just kind of just hand brooms, they're not full. We got just little hand brooms where you got dustpans and you're just dusting up dirt. And you think it's kind of redundant to dust up dirt, but it actually makes a whole lot different, especially when the sun beats on it. All this stuff that you that you undusted, you could just dust back up, and then it looks like a flat. And it makes a huge difference. You could tell once you're actually on the site. You go to the next one, please. Okay, yeah, here's some more pictures from inside the fountain. You can see that it's about 6 foot tall. The rounds right here, you see this. This is the ancient, all this right here is we're believing it's tiles from the roof or the parts of the roof that have collapsed in. So we find a lot of that. And by keeping them, we don't keep all the pieces because that would just be so much. We try to keep it, measure it, take pictures, height and weight, and then we have a pile for them. But the really nicer pieces we'll take back, clean up. And it's hard to tell the difference at first between what's pottery and then what's used for building materials because they have the same texture and look. But once you get to understand it a little bit better, you could tell by just feel. It's very interesting how you could just feel how it was differently made. Emergency. I'm gonna do it. Valle Giani represents the most significant evidence of Roman domestic architecture found on the western side of Lake Bolsena. While the fountain is the most visible part, excavations have confirmed that it's belonged to a massive imperial era villa complex. This estate served as both a luxury home and a center for a large-scale agricultural management. Interestingly, the construction materials at Valle Giani differ from nearby Roman urban centers. While cities like Bolsena made heavy use of brick, the builders at Valle Giani used exclusively local source tufa stones. This choice suggests a specific regional architectural style, or perhaps a logistic necessity caused by a lack of local clay for brickmaking. Regardless of the material, the presence of sophisticated features like tessellated pavements prove that the villa's owners were probably of high status, likely connected to the political or economic elite of Rome itself. And on here, this is the one in orange and the one in the green are the main 2 dig sites we digged in this past summer. The fountain is in the green one. The orange one is where I spent most of my time and where I actually found the lamp that we'll be discussing. We believed at first that it was multiple use, that it was a storehouse either for olive oil to make wine, because we found these vats that we'll be discussing shortly, and other materials that look like this is for production. This doesn't look like a home. But as we keep unearthing, as we're going deeper, we actually might believe that it could have been used as some type of religious temple where we found this massive pillar, at least a piece of a pillar, that's probably going into that tree, so they're gonna have to cut down that tree this next year. And then right down there is this where we keep a storehouse of all the materials that we needed, wheelbarrows, and stuff like that.
Do you mean a pillar or column?
Column, excuse me. Yes, it was a little Roman column, yes, thank you.
And do you know what type? Was it a finished or rough column?
No, it was finished. We found it in the last week we were there, so we didn't get to truly analyze it. They're still going through it all. My professors definitely could tell you more about that. But it was, first we thought it was just that we saw the bottom part sticking into the edge of that. So it was in that wall of the one in orange. So we just saw, at first we just like, oh, it must be a rock.
Yeah.
And then we kept going around, we were like, this is kind of pillar shaped. So we're like, because it was inside the wall, it wasn't technically in the station. We couldn't really move it at first. And then the last couple days, our professor just sent me and two of the boys to like, get that out of there. So we mostly just pulled it straight out, and we found that it was definitely carved. It was definitely carved. It was not natural.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. It changes. Originally we thought this was a poor person. Like when they first came, this was a poor person's villa or a little house and then storehouse. But as the research continues going on over the years, we're pretty confident that it's somebody of high esteem. We don't know for sure who it is yet, but it's pretty high esteem. Okay, next one. Oh, and this is what the back. Archaeology at Valley Gianni reveals the site was a place of work as much of a place of luxury. Directly adjacent to the grand fountain, the team uncovered a large, divided architectural production vat. The interior of this basin was lined with coccio pesto, a specialized Roman hydraulic concrete made of mixing lime with crushed pottery and tiles to make it completely waterproof. Early excavators believed that these vats were used for pressing and storage of olive oil, a staple of the local community. And that one previous picture, you saw a lot of olive trees around there. Over time, however, the site underwent a dramatic functional shift as the villa's owners focused on more residential comfort and display. These messy industrial vats were intentionally filled with rubble and paved over. This transition from a factory atmosphere to a more redefined domestic space provides a clear timeline of the villa's evolution from a working farm into a high-status country retreat. So it could have been that somebody originally was up there using it as a farm for either olive oil, wine, or something like that, and then some rich person came in and was like, "Oh, I like this spot overlooking the lake. Let's take this over." That's speculation. You can't prove that. And then right here, there's about 2 or 3 of these vats in that one orange dig site that we kept finding. And then we digged in there, and they go down pretty deep. I'm talking probably up to my height almost in dig sites. We didn't go down there, of course, but that's what it looked like. And we kept finding almost these pipes. That it was a really pipe system that we keep finding, that they're definitely made to either flow of olive oil or wine. So it was very advanced, more than we thought than just a basic little storehouse on the side.
Fired clay pipes or lead lead?
Clay. They were clay. So yeah, well, it was very interesting. We found this big stone, and then we were like, oh, this is huge. This must just be a stone. And then as we keep going on, we find these little holes of piping, and then we're finding the ceramics coming out of it. We're like, this has to be some basis for a pipe. That was also, this is very new, you know. I don't want to speak on it, but I'll speak on it yet for sure. Okay. One of the most exciting finds indicates the high status of discovery was the refined mosaic flooring. As the site moved away from its industrial origins, rooms were decorated with black and white mosaics featuring a pete or shield pattern. This motif was popular throughout the Roman Empire, consists of interlocking crescent shapes. These floors were found in areas that had previously been used for more utilitarian purposes, signaling a clear upgrade in the villa's living standards during the mid-imperial period. For archaeologists, these mosaics were often more than just decoration, they were a vital dating tool. By comparing the style and craftsmanship of these patterns to other known sites in Italy, the NBAP team can more accurately pin down where the villa was at its peak prosperity. These fragments of art show that the people living in the deep had a deep appreciation of Mediterranean trends and the wealth to bring them to the Lake Salad Plateau. These are a couple examples of the mosaic flooring. We have black, white, we found even some like this. This is glass made of stone. Some even had gold inlay in them. So it's clear that this is not just some random peasant wanting to beautify their home a little bit more. This was somebody who you have to import this stuff, you have to have master craftsmen. And bags and bags of these, all different shapes, all different sizes, and different colors, as we see right there. And this is us mapping the site. Because excavating as an entire plateau by hand is nearly impossible, the NBA team employed space-age technology to see beneath the grass. In 2022, they conducted a magnetometry survey which measures tiny variations in the Earth's magnetic field to detect buried stone walls, pits, and earths. The resulting map reveals a dense, complex overlay of structures spreading far beyond the fountain. The digital X-rays showed that the villa was much more than previously thought, which found foundations extending to the south and west. However, interpreting this data is a challenge because of the volcanic nature of the local 2-foot bedrock, and modern architectural interference can noise up the signal, just kind of interfere and not give us a clear picture. Despite these hurdles, the magnetometry was a game changer. It allowed the team to stop guessing and start digging in precise locations, leading to discovery of different flooring materials in the outer boundaries of the ancient complex. We tried to do this again this year, but we had a little mishap and the drone crashed in the mountain in the forest, so that was about 2 hours looking for a very expensive drone. That was not a fun day, let's say that. Yes?
No, I'm just elevating my arm.
Do you use ground penetrating radar? Or?
They use like GIS systems. I wasn't on that part of the team. I was mostly on finding the drone after in the woods. But they use a couple different types. We can't be on site when it happens. They want it at night better. So I'm not too sure actually about the systems used, but I would assume it's something like that.
And the drone, it wasn't like LiDAR or anything, was it?
Yeah, yes, it was. Yeah, it's very similar to LiDAR, and I think it used multiple type of tests to find it.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big drone. I'm talking about this size, about this wide of the table, a little longer. And it's very expensive. We had to bring it all the way from America.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was not a fun day on this site when that crashed. It kind of stopped a lot because around this site, there's a lot of Etruscan tombs around the site. I didn't bring them up because we really didn't. I only went into one once. We didn't really go look into that in this summer. So they were trying to see if there's any more tombs or if there's any more houses or places that we are missing. Now to my discovery. This is the near intact oil lamp. It was made sometimes between the 3rd and 2nd century BC. We described it as a night lamp, the night light type thing that just used oil. This is about 95% intact.
Wow.
About right here, we're missing a little stem piece that would like hold some wicks or candles and stuff. You would mostly use this at night to see around the house, maybe read, or you would use it as like, okay, it burns out, because you didn't want to waste too much oil on a full lamp, so you would use that. The reason why we know the date of it better is because on the next slide, if you right next to it, I found another piece with a maker's mark on it. This would be the bottom of it. Mine, the one I found, you couldn't really make a clear maker's mark, but this one had, and it's very similar to ones that we found in books or stuff that is around the 3rd or 2nd century BC. So it's about older than Jesus Christ, about 200 years older than him. We pulled this out of the ground. So I was very excited when I made it, and it's going to be put into as I showed earlier, in their museum in the local Dig-Italy. They have a special section for all the Valligiani finds that they're going to put in. I didn't add too much about the museum, but the museum has a lot of replica of Renaissance clothing and other just artifacts that they found around the area, which it's very cool. I think in about 2 years it should be built, the full museum thing, once we finish all the stuff. And it should have my picture in there and everything, so it's pretty exciting, so I can't wait to take my kids, 30 years to go see that. Any questions about the lamp or anything? Yeah.
The maker's mark is, what is it? I'm looking at it. Are there actual letters?
Yeah, it looks like leathering. It looks like, to me, when I pulled it out, I was like, this looks like a maker's mark. It looks like Greek to me, because back then it's hard to tell because they didn't have spaces in the words at that time. So I don't know if it's a one name or if it's just a maker or if it's just like his little stamp, a trademark. We're not sure about, because we literally just pulled this out last summer and they're going to be doing more research on it. They sent it to some institute in Italy to get looked at as well.
Yeah, there's a laser you can use. We use it at something at the museum, but the laser reads it and can, and now with AI, I'm sure. it's
I'm sure
better.
they have a whole model of what it's supposed to
But, I
look
mean,
like
it
and all
can
that
give you
stuff.
an accurate depiction of what's said.
Yeah, so
There's no guessing anymore.
yeah, so that would be yeah, that's very cool.
Well, you could become a designer and that could be your trademark.
Yeah, I should get a tattooed or something, right? Oh yeah, go to the next slide. Speak more about pottery. Pottery is often called the alphabet of archaeology because it allows researchers to date the layers and understand the daily lifespans of people. And what I mean date the layers is date the layer of soil that I came up from. So you'll be able to kind of know when that soil was once unearthed and when people were walking on it based off of what you find in it. At Valle Gianni, the team recovered a diverse range of ceramic types from heavy-duty storage jars to delicate finewares. These finds are not just trash, they are data points. By analyzing the clay composites and the shape of the rims and bases, archaeologists can determine where a pot was made and how it was used. For example, the presence of large dola, storage jars, indicate that the bulk storage of archaeological goods like fine wine or grain, while thinner decorated vessels tell us about the status and dining habits of villa's inhabitants. You go to the next slide. Oh, and actually, Bobby, here. This is me actually unearthing it right here. This is where we found the lamp. They got a picture of it. You know, set that up obviously. It's not set up photo, but yeah, we pulled it right off the ground. The artifacts found at Valle Gianni, particularly the pottery, provides a window into the ancient global economy. The team has recovered a staggering variety of ceramics ranging from coarse local kitchen pots to fine imported dinnerwares. The two major types that stand out are black slipware from the earlier phases and African red slipware from later periods. ARS is particularly important because it is manufactured in North Africa, which we believe is where modern day Tunisia is at, and exported across the empire. Finding a large quantities of it at Valle Gianni proves that the residents were a part of a sophisticated trade network importing luxury goods via the Mediterranean. This is the perfect context for the lamp found at the site. Lamps were often imported or modeled after Mediterranean styles, serving as both functional light sources and small pieces of art, reflecting the owner's taste and their connection to the wider Roman world. It's very interesting, actually. You could tell the difference between the local ones and the African ones just by the touch. Once you knew what you were looking for, and after a couple weeks, I'd be like, oh, Tunisia. Oh, this is from Italy. It's very, I don't know if it's the processes make it or what the coating they use. The ones from Tunisia are very fine, very like smooth, and they feel less rigid than the Italian ones. For a long time, historians believed that Roman villas were abandoned and fell into ruin during the Dark Ages. Valle Gianni completely challenges this narrative. The archaeological evidence shows that the site remained active and perhaps even prosperous well into the 6th century AD. The smoking gun for this continued activity is the discovery of 2 Byzantine bronze coins found near the fountain. These coins were minted during the time when Italy began being torn apart by the Gothic wars between the Byzantine Empire and the Ostrogoths, plus the Lombard invasion. In fact, these coins reached a villa on the western shore of Lake Bolsena, suggest that the local economy was surprisingly resilient to these wars. Rather than a site in decline, Valle Gianni appears to have been a survivor, maintaining the importance as a local landmark and a place of residence long after the Western Roman Empire's officially collapsed. Unfortunately, I do not have pictures of the coins. Those are still, I didn't get them from my professor. But they were just about the size of a penny. You see the face, and you got some maybe a little trinket on the back for whatever emperor wants to put it there. We weren't sure at the time of which coins for which emperor, but we were thinking it's about the 6th century AD is where they come from. Yeah. Current excavations. The most recent seasons of digging at Valle Gianni have been some of the most challenging and rewarding. Work is focused on several trenches labeled VG1 through VG6, Valle Gianni 1, Valle Gianni 6, suited around the exterior of the monumental fountain. One of the biggest obstacles has been the roof collapse. Massive heavy blocks of the original stone and concrete ceiling that fell into the fountain's interior centuries ago. Because moving these requires heavy industrial machinery, the team was focused on the apron or the front entrance of the fountain. That was what I showed you earlier. And as you see, as I explained earlier, you have little steps coming down to it for safety. And these are some of the tools we're going to use here. I don't know if you can see it. Here's the brooms that we were talking about, little handles. And as you see, there's a lot of we're all young people. These are all students from ISU except the guy in the back's green. He's a professor at Dartmouth, or studying at Dartmouth to be a professor. Hey, found evidence. Because moving these required heavy machines focused on here have they found evidence of how the site has been repurposed during the Middle Ages, including later walls built from recycled Roman stone. The trenches have provided the team with a clear stratigraphy, a vertical timeline of the soil layers. That shows exactly how the site has lived in, how it was damaged by earthquakes or time, or how it was eventually reclaimed by the olive groves that we see today. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys all for coming. You guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer or stick around to talk.
Thank you.
Yes.
I've been to Bolsena many times. My uncle had an apartment there, and every time he wanted to plant, well, my colleagues have heard the story before. Every time he wanted to plant a flower in the backyard, there was a vase underneath.
Yes, that's how.
It's all Etruscan, and then when you're driving down the road between Orvieto, which is the exit on the expressway, there are signs all over the place that say Etruscan tomb and arrows pointing to these things, so they know this was Etruscan, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's so surprising that there was a villa on top of a mountain overlooking a lake.
Yeah,
People still do that, and the fact they say transition, I don't know that it was a transition. When somebody makes money with their crops, with their olive oil or whatever else, the wine, because wine is good in volcanic soil. Of course they're gonna make money eventually, and then on the lake, they had transportation across the lake. They moved things by boat across the lake, and then they had to transport it across land on carts, because the lake is a small lake.
I'm very happy you went there. My professor's gonna be
Oh
excited.
yeah,
to
I've
know
been
more
there many
people seeing
times.
it.
My
Yeah.
uncle had a little showcase in his office that was all these little Etruscan vases. Of course, you can't bring them home because it's part of the patrimony of the country, so you're not allowed to.
Have you been to the little like old castle that has the museum in it?
Yeah, but you know, I was there
Many.
before you were born.
Yes, in Bolsena they have another museum in this old castle, and they have beautiful artifacts from around the town, from Etruscan to Roman to just general Italian stuff. It's truly a really beautiful. If you ever go to Italy, check it out. Beautiful town on the lake. You go to get dinner or lunch out by the lakeside. We enjoyed it quite a bit. The lake was beautiful. It
It
was
was good and the fish is good.
delicious. Yes, very good. And one thing interesting about the place, they don't use salt in their bread. They don't use a lot of salt in anything because I guess apparently there was a big siege. I don't know the exact year on this. A siege, and they got no access to salt for like many years. So
What's
they
the tax on it?
they developed this stuff.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, we'll do without the
Yeah.
salt.
Yeah.
But the Tuscans are very proud of their unsalted bread.
And you get to love it. Yeah.
Oh, tell us about your work day, your schedule. Well, what time did you get up? And, breaks. What happened after the day was over? And did you get how much Orvieto did you get to drink?
Quite a bit of wine. I'll tell you that for sure. Our day usually consisted of, we usually met around 7:30 to head to the dig site. So I'd wake up around 6 o'clock to get changed, and then I'd go walk down to the local cafe and be posso bere cornetto e cappuccino, just to get some coffee and some breakfast. You have to when you're there. Get some gelato after a nice hot day. Perfect. And then we'd go drive up to the dig site. It's about 15 minutes, and then we'd walk up. So by like 8:30. For sure, by 9 o'clock, we were getting started working in the dig sites. And then we had worked to around 12 o'clock, 12:30-ish. We actually had one of the local grandmas of the town that made all the food. They catered us food every day. So our professor would go down, get us some pasta or some chicken, whatever they made for us that day. We'd come up, we'd eat lunch, have a good time, and then work for maybe another 2-3 hours, depending on the weather, depending on what we wanted to get done of that day. But about 4:30-ish, 4 o'clock, we'd be back in the town of Ridoli where we stayed. And we'd usually go for some gelato or cold beverage, beer, wine, whatever it is to cool for the day. And it was really nice. I got really close with all the members that came. And we'd host dinners. We'd rotate from, you make this dinner, we'll go at your house. Then we'd rotate to the next one, you make dinner, go to the house. Really brought us really close together. And I truly enjoyed it. Like the friends I made there, I'll probably talk to the rest of my life. I'm still very close with them. And even the professors, I still have the professors' numbers, and we talk. Actually, the professor, Dr. Jasper, just sent me a message yesterday about another project I was working on with her. So it's a very tight-knit team. The community aspect was awesome. And we worked hard. We did a lot of good work. They were really happy with all the stuff we found this year. Yeah.
I'm curious about the academic organization of this. So was this like an internship? Did you receive credit? Did you have to apply? And was there a vetting process?
Yes,
to get
you're
it?
right. So you
Just
had a-
curious how the university incorporated this
So I
into
got
the
6
curriculum.
credits
Yeah,
from
6
going there. So the 2 class, Dr. Jasper and Dr. Klein, you were both in their class, and you got 6 credits. But you also had to apply, and they vetted out whoever couldn't make it, didn't make the cut. And by it was about March-ish, I think it was on spring break last year, when they gave us the email and said you've been accepted, and you go through it, and then you get 6 credits plus you get trained as a classic archaeological or field school. So I'm technically a classically trained archaeologist at this time. So I could work on any site in America and South America and this stuff with the credentials.
Is that a certificate?
It's mostly just through. I didn't get a certificate,
Yeah.
but I think it's mostly just you have to go through training. They just don't want any
Right.
novice just to walk.
So it's a
down.
credential you can take forward now?
Yeah. Yes.
That's
exactly.
awesome.
Yes, sir.
Is there a beach on the lake?
Yes, there's a beach on the lake. There's a nice little beachside sack. We get a bunch of fun popsicles, wines, whatever this is. We went down there a couple times after. Let's say our professors wouldn't drive us to the beach, so we had to hike down there and walk. So, when we felt like doing that after a long day, just to go jump in the lake because it was nice and cold. It was. When I was there, I was there from May to June, and I thought it was beautiful. It was like 80 degrees, got up to 90 at some point. But all the Italian people, they were still wearing their vests and long sleeve pants. They were making fun of us for wearing shorts and stuff there for sure. But we got to go to the beach quite often. The beach is a little different. It's there's a lot of ceramics and glass on the beach, so you got to be kind of careful. But we definitely got to enjoy it.
Is it rocky? Rocky beach?
Yes, yeah, a lot of rock. It was really rocky. There's some sand, but not a lot. The sand was definitely a lot of rocks, other ceramics, and glass was definitely in there.
You plan on going back?
I was supposed to go back this summer, but I actually got another job at Culver Academy to teach there this summer, which I couldn't pass up that opportunity.
So you might go back soon?
Yeah, I definitely want to go back and do it as a little summer occupation because I want to be either a teacher or a professor, and I definitely want to continue to see the world through archaeology. There's those websites that I shown. They have 5 different archaeological digs, whether going to Bolivia for a couple months or going to Ecuador, something like that, just to see the world while working and get to enjoy my passion, which is history.
Now, were they only universities from your university that were on the site?
No, actually, we had a diverse mostly it was ISU students just because the teachers are there, but we actually had 2 people from Northern Illinois University, and we actually had a kid from Georgetown. One of my roommates went to Georgetown and got joined on it. Anybody could really do it, but it's ISU students first, and then they if you have some
They
other
were all
students.
undergrads. So
All undergrad, yes.
Undergrad, so there must have been some sort of exchange then. Those students must have applied to your
Yes,
university.
they applied, they found it through some other, I'm not too sure. But yeah, so it was the structure would be the bosses or all the professors that have been there. Then they had 2 people, the one man I showed there and another man are not in their master's or doctorate programs to try to go. They were the second layer, our trench supervisors. And then we had the kids doing all the digging.
Do you have volunteers working along with you or no?
Oh no, we had a couple times we had Italian archaeologists come in to do some work with us or just show us how to do stuff. A lot of it's an educational thing, so they wanted to show us every step of the process of how to work the GIS machine, so you kind of got merit badges almost, we called it. We had pretty much just stickers in our notebooks because we had to keep journal every day about what we did because we still had to incorporate classwork to it. And then when we came back, we just had to write some papers. Yeah.
Now this lake, in say the 1920s and 1930s, was it used for the budding Italian aviation industry when they had seaplanes?
I don't think so. It's a big lake, but I couldn't see that. It's not. It's a big lake, but not huge. It's the biggest concave lake in Europe, but not actual lake.
Okay, it must be another lake that was north of Rome that Balbo and the others used when the Italian aviation.
It's big enough to be seen on the map when you look at an Italian map.
Trasimeno is Rome.
And that's
Oh,
bigger, isn't it,
okay.
Trasimeno? Is it bigger than Bolsena?
I don't know if it's bigger. It might be longer. You could see it on the map if you look up a map of Italy and you are just Central Italy. It'll pop out for you. You'll see it's about just a little bit, maybe this much on the map above Rome. Any questions? Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I have a lot of appreciation for letting me come and speak, and I have a lot of appreciation if you guys come in to listen.
Excellent job. Thank you very much for